Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I was in a crucial phase of my life, utterly dedicated to my ceramic art. My small home studio was bursting at the seams, and I desperately needed a professional kiln and a larger workspace to scale up. It was an investment that felt monumental, so I was scrimping every penny and looking for a temporary gig to boost my savings. Commissions were slow, and I needed something reliable, even if short-term. That's when I saw the ad for a marketing coordinator role. It promised flexible hours, uncapped earning potential, and a decent base salary for a startup in the personal development sector. It sounded legitimate enough. A few days later, a man named Darren Miller called. He liked my resume, thought my artistic background showed innovative thinking. He pitched an hourly rate in the mid-20s, plus commission, which was far better than anything I'd seen. The location was a bit out of the way, in a newer tech park, but for that kind of money, I was willing to make the drive. We set an interview for Tuesday morning. Tuesday arrived, a bright but chilly autumn day. I dressed in my best smart casual outfit and battled through the morning commute. The address Darren gave led me to a gleaming glass office building, but there was no company name on the directory for Ascendancy Coaching, which was what he'd said the company was called. I found the suite number, and the door was plain, unlabeled. My BS detector immediately started to twitch. Inside, it was even worse. Folding tables with cheap plastic tablecloths served as desks. The walls were covered with gaudy motivational posters featuring stock photos of overly enthusiastic people and charts promising exponential wealth. It reeked of cheap ambition. A young woman, Chloe, greeted me with an overly bright smile, introduced herself as Darren's executive assistant, and ushered me to a seat. She kept shuffling papers, clearly performing for my benefit. My suspicions solidified into a hard knot in my stomach. Eventually, Darren emerged from a back room, slicked back hair, a suit that seemed a size too small, and a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Ah, our newest recruit," Chloe gushed. Darren shot her a look that would curdle milk, then turned his practiced charm on me. He led me to a circle of chairs where a few other nervous-looking people were already seated. He started his spiel about Ascendancy Coaching, how it was revolutionizing personal empowerment, how we could earn limitless wealth by sharing this opportunity. He pulled out a glossy binder, displaying testimonials. Then he paused for a quick client call, leaving his binder and a heavy textbook on his table. "Just 5 minutes, folks, grab some coffee." My eyes immediately fell on the textbook. It was a well-known business ethics tome. And there, peeking from under the binder, was an open page with a bookmark. My curiosity, now fully piqued, led me to covertly pick it up. The page was titled "The Anatomy of a Pyramid Scheme," and highlighted in the text, under notorious examples, was Ascendancy Coaching. The textbook detailed how these schemes preyed on desperation, required participants to buy expensive starter kits, and were fundamentally unsustainable. That was it. My temporary job hunt had just become a mission. I wasn't just going to walk out. I was going to detonate this whole charade. I cleared my throat, making sure the others looked at me. "Excuse me, everyone," I said, holding up the textbook, open to the damning page. "I think Darren accidentally left this behind. It's quite enlightening." I read aloud the sections describing how Ascendancy Coaching operated, how it mirrored every classic sign of a pyramid scheme, and how the uncapped earning potential was a myth built on recruiting others who would also buy in. The room erupted. One older gentleman who had looked so hopeful stood up, his face red with fury. "So, we have to buy something to get started, don't we?" he demanded. A young woman, visibly pregnant, started to cry, whispering about how she thought this was her only chance to earn a living with a new baby. Just then, Darren walked back in, all smiles. He stopped dead. "What's going on here?" he stammered, his eyes darting to the textbook in my hand. "Someone want to tell me who's spreading these fabrications?" The pregnant woman, through tears, asked him, "Do we have to pay for a starter kit? For the Ascendancy framework?" Darren deflated. "Well, yes, to truly embody the framework and share it effectively, there's an initial investment in your personal development kit. But it's an investment in yourself." He tried to recover, but it was too late. People were yelling, getting up, calling him a scammer. Darren pointed at me, his face contorted in rage. You, get out, you're ruining everything. I'm merely presenting the facts, Darren, I said calmly, then turned to the others. Let's all leave. This is a waste of your time and potential. One by one, we all streamed out, leaving a sputtering, furious Darren and a shell-shocked Chloe behind. As I walked out of the building, my eyes caught the for lease sign leaning against the wall outside Darren's suite, the same one I'd seen Chloe try to hide earlier. It had a number for Sterling Properties. I pulled out my phone, got into my car, and dialed. I explained everything to the very surprised property manager, a woman named Sarah. I told her about the pyramid scheme, about Darren misrepresenting his business, about the deceptive interview process. Sarah was initially skeptical, but then grew increasingly concerned as I described the cheap setup, the accidental textbook revelation, and the immediate exodus of all the interviewees. She said they were actually planning to finalize the lease agreement with Darren later that afternoon. I truly thought that was the end of it, a small act of justice. But a few weeks later, an email landed in my inbox. The subject line was, "You ruined my life." It was from Darren, a torrent of vitriol, curses, and threats. He accused me of being a malicious, jealous saboteur. He ranted about how Sterling Properties had pulled the lease agreement, citing a clause about misrepresentation of business purpose, and how they weren't refunding his substantial down payment for the space and initial office supplies, likely the folding tables and posters. He claimed I was the reason he was out thousands, his dream shattered, his vision crushed. He specifically mentioned how my actions had caused the property management to investigate and reject him. I read the email twice, a slow, satisfied smile spreading across my face. He had just admitted everything in writing. I immediately forwarded the email to Sarah at Sterling Properties, along with a note explaining it was the gentleman I told you about. Sarah called me back within an hour. She was ecstatic. "That email, that's exactly what our legal team needed," she said. "He effectively admitted to deceptive practices and trying to use our property under false pretenses. This confirms everything and strengthens our case against him tenfold. He's not only lost his deposit, but we're pursuing damages for breach of initial agreement and potential fraudulent misrepresentation." I hung up, feeling a profound sense of peace. My small act of defiance had not only saved a dozen desperate people from being fleeced, but it had utterly annihilated the scammer himself. Darren didn't just lose a deposit. He lost his entire operation, faced legal action, and his personal empowerment empire crumbled before it even began. It felt good, really good. Some battles are worth fighting, not just for yourself, but for every unsuspecting person who almost walked into a trap. Justice, sometimes, is just a phone call and a well-timed email away.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.